but we're going to continue here with the talks. So now it's my pleasure to introduce to Hanna Hala, which is the Director of Community at Solve, which is a great initiative here at MIT, and you're going to understand more what Solve does. She has to do it because it's a long story, but please, Hala, join us on the stage. Do you want to play the video, please?
Okay, maybe we won't play the video. Can you help me skip it? Hello. It's great to be here. My name is Hala. I'm the Managing Director of Community at Solve. Have you seen the news this morning? Artificial intelligence. You know, every time I see the news, I wonder what's going to kill us faster. Artificial intelligence, natural stupidity. At MIT, though, we are tech optimists, and we believe deeply in the power of technology as a force for good. But we now also know that left to their own devices, there's no guarantee that technology will evolve in ways that includes everyone. And building a society with equality of opportunities and of outcomes can't really come as an afterthought. It requires deliberate planning and design in terms of how we innovate and scale. And it also requires more inclusion of who we innovate for and who we innovate with. And that is really the idea behind Solve. We believe that ingenuity exists everywhere, not just on MIT campus. I know it's shocking. But we can solve many more of the world's most complex challenges if we find those innovators and unlock their potential to scale. So every year, we launch actionable challenges across 4 areas: learning, health, sustainability, and economic prosperity. And anyone, anywhere can submit a solution, whether you're a student or an MIT faculty, a Venezuelan refugee in Colombia, a nonprofit leader in DF, an entrepreneur in Medellin. We receive 1,000 applications from over 100 countries, 15% from Latin America, which is great, given that it's, I think, 8-point-something% of the global population. And then our judges select the most promising innovators. We call them solver teams. Those solver teams, like the one that you did not see in the video, get a 9-month support program and access to a community that we've built of leaders from all sectors who are looking for innovations to achieve their own impact goals. And so in essence, we act like a marketplace. We connect the best solutions to the resources that need them to scale. This is our portfolio to date. And you will note that 52% of our portfolio is actually women-led. So I always say, if you cannot find women tech entrepreneurs, you're not looking hard enough. And a dozen of our entrepreneurs are headquartered in Latin America. And what I want to spend the rest of the time doing is tell you more about a few of them, because they are amazing. They're using artificial intelligence to address some of their community's hardest challenges in ways that are thoughtful and creative and previously impossible. Like Destácame. They are, by the way, 3 MIT alums from Chile. And you know how algorithms are only as good as the data that trains them, right? And we used to say garbage in, garbage out. Now we say bias in, bias out. And it's not just the bias about the current data that exists in the world, but also about which data we choose to use in the first place. So if you take financial inclusion and creditworthiness, we know that 400 million people in Latin America don't have bank accounts. And for those people, getting a loan, getting a credit card, it's almost impossible. But many of those unbanked people exhibit behaviors that prove creditworthiness. For example, if they have a history of paying utility and phone bills on time. And this is what Destacame believes. Their algorithm creates an alternative credit score that uses data not reported to credit bureaus and that proves their clients' ability to repay loans so that financial institutions can lend to them. And they're now serving 1.3 million people across Chile and Mexico. Now, if we go to health and education, AI can also dramatically reduce the cost of providing high-quality services and improve health and learning outcomes. Sala Uno is out of Mexico, and 80% of blindness cases are preventable or reversible, but they're also very expensive. For most people in Mexico and other resource-constrained environments, they don't have that kind of access. So these guys, they built the type of technology that makes prevention and eye care scalable and affordable. They developed an algorithm that detects eye problems through pattern recognition so that it can be done virtually. They can offer telemedicine programs in their clinics. And they developed another algorithm that can predict patient show up so that they can maximize how many people they can take care of. I can't imagine a moment more transformative than seeing a person gain their eyesight again. And Liveworks is another one. Actually, Carlos is from Brazil, and he basically quit his job and built a company so that he could communicate with his daughter who was born with cerebral palsy. And his AI uses natural language processing and learns from and adapts to different types of disabilities to facilitate communication with people who can't communicate as easily as we can. And General Motors actually invested in him and is looking at potentially incorporating his technology into their self-driving vehicles. And so that you can see that this is, for big companies, this is not just about doing good, but sometimes it's also about their core business. AI is even coming after your corrupt politician. Take Riverlogoff, they're out of Brazil, and their AI-powered platform analyzes all public data available and maps out statistical irregularities, which often indicates corruption. So their app actually shares their findings with both the administrators so they can correct them if it's just a mistake, or with civil society so that they can pressure elected officials to take action. Riverlogoff says they already mapped 1 million irregularity in Sao Paulo's public administrations, if anyone from Sao Paulo here. And so, lots of examples. I have many more. I just stick to those. But Carlos and Augusto and Maria, they are all part of a new breed of entrepreneurs who are demonstrating the incredible power of artificial intelligence to do good and positively impact millions of people. And by the way, most of these examples are for-profit businesses. They're not cute little non-profity. Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way, but basically there are business models that are creating value from big data and AI to benefit people who so far have been excluded from the banking sector, from the education system, from receiving eye care. All that to say, we can do this. You know, we can ensure technology is adapted to all, deployed to all, benefit all, especially the most remote and the most vulnerable. In the last 3 years, we have partnered with dozens of corporations and foundations. We actually have more than 100 members that bring the marketplace to life. We've brokered a total of $12 million to social entrepreneurs who are solving world problems. And it's not just about money, by the way. It's about mentorship, board development, media exposure, and technological advances, and more. So how can you get involved? Next month, we will be launching our next set of global challenges. So you can sign up for those updates to hear more. You can also become a Solve member, like other 100 member organizations who support our Solver teams like Carlos and collaborate together and attend year-round Solve meetings, including our flagship event here on campus, Solve at MIT in May. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today. Challenges and inequalities persist not because the technology is not there, but because people do not have access to it or the education to use it. And here in this room, we have all of that. So in the coming 3 days of your meeting, I hope you think about the examples that I shared and how we can use AI for good. Thank you, and let's solve together.